Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, we finally escaped the savannah, and now our tribe has found themselves on yet another swamp island, though the difference with this one is that it's leading us toward our first true jungle. So we have plenty of preparations to take care of today, and of course the very first one on our list is going to be our food situation. The savannah basically burned through every last one of our resources, so our royal family has quite a bit on their plate. They're going to have to use those poison fangs to scoop up all of the toxic berries in their paths, and Quiver is going to use his big nose to sniff out those sources. That was actually kind of what caught the eye of Isis and Amethyst, when he used his big nose to help them find what they needed. But I feel like it's probably those golden stripes that sealed the deal. He does look quite a bit like Adam of the Legends, so maybe that was truly what drew their eye. They probably even think that this island could be the very same one that Adam landed on, so very long ago when the bluebirds swept him away from his family. So with so many connections to those old stories, Quiver is probably seen as some grand omen to them. And hopefully that will transfer to their babies as well, because I would love to see more babies with those gorgeous golden stripes. Hopefully that's going to stick around for a very long time to come. Right now though, our leaders are a bit more concerned with the food, so I think they will send off creatures like our bandits and little Hush to find new sources of their own. Hush with her big nose is going to be just as valuable as Quiver, so let's see if she can smell anything way out here. Alright, so we have some poison berries, which isn't going to help them out too much, but we also have some shells in the water, and I think our little bandits, our little band of bandits would be very, very interested to see those. So it has been quite a while since any of our creatures truly revered the bandit brothers, but I think they're going to be a little bit disappointed when they realize that it's not so easy to crack open these shells. We might need to breed the nimble fingers into their line too, or else this shell collecting mission will never succeed. Muse and Kindle are about the only creatures who can truly use the shells to their advantage. And I mean, we have so many shells on this island. It's quite clear that either the Balance sisters or the Bandit brothers are watching over us. I'm kind of leaning on the side of the Bandit brothers, because we have noticed too that quite a few little crabbits are spawning in the distance. So this might actually be the place where the crabbits ran off to, with all of their treasure in tow, of course. We'll bring Muse down this way though to lead his son back around the ports, because I would like them to potentially use the stream in the future too. This thing honestly looks like a giant water slide leading straight down from the tree in the middle of the island. And since they do have the nimble fingers, that would mean that they could also crack open those acorns. So I think that would be the perfect place for Kindle to start his job. Now we have one last fate to decide as we give our little wandering creature her official name. She was hoping to maybe reinvent herself with our tribe. Maybe she was pushed out of her old one for some reason, but either way, she wasn't too willing to tell anybody what her name was. So I asked you guys for suggestions, and quite a few of you seemed to like the name Acacia, after the savannah tree. And since she did come from the savannah herself, I felt like that would be a pretty fitting name. But you guys had a lot of really good ideas. So maybe, as she thinks about starting a little family of her own, we might use some of them for her babies. And as I'm sure you guys have already guessed, she's going to look toward little Arrow as she sits high atop this nest, hoping that he would be willing to start a family with her. He was the first and only creature who was so willing to accept her into the tribe, despite the fact that she didn't even have a name at the time. So she really appreciates his presence, and naturally he would be the very first creature that she tells her new name to. We'll just want to take a quick look at their mutation menus to see if there's any way that we can hopefully get some healthier babies out of them. And first things first, we are going to want to place the running leg into Arrow's first slot, so we can hopefully breed the deformed paw out of his genetics. It does look like he has the dots in his inactive traits too, which would be wonderful to see on this line, because that would help increase our camouflage in the jungle biome. So these babies would be a little bit more likely to sneak around the apes. We'll go ahead and place it into his second slot just in case, since we typically do have some trouble passing patterns over the no pattern gene. And then as far as Acacia goes, we just need to watch out for that short-sighted eye problem. And then I think we'll try to make use of the black fur, since that's another way that they can blend in easily with the shadows of the jungle. Thankfully, any baby born from Isis and Amethyst are guaranteed to have that in their genetics too. So we're already well on our way to breeding a line of super stealthy babies. But go ahead and breed with Arrow, then you can clear out some of the grass around your nest, so we won't have anything nasty spawning around us in the meantime, aside from those leeches anyway. And of course, it would be one of you to pick that one up. It looks like Muse is going to have to ask his son for a little bit of extra help once they wake up in the morning. But with all that taken care of, let's go ahead and skip the day and watch as some of our very first babies are born on this new island. Oh, and look at this one with those lovely golden stripes again. Little Quiver. Oh, I'm sure we've had that name in our tribe before. I think that was actually the name of our original platypus-beaked creature, if I remember correctly. So you have a lot riding on your shoulders too. Unfortunately, he couldn't mutate that stinky tail that would help us keep the bugs away in the swamp. But he does have 2 runner's legs, so maybe he'll be able to move quickly through that tall jungle grass. I think this is where Quiver's influence is going to come in particularly handy. Oh my gosh, look at all these leeches. Oh my goodness, Muse. Okay, let's see if you can hopefully get rid of as many as possible before they come back to attack you again. We'll have Kindle take the extra one off of you, maybe lick your wounds too. But then you guys are going to have to be so very vigilant, because that leech is not going to stay away from you for very much longer. In fact, as we take the extra leech off of Kindle as well, maybe we'll want to move you two out of the way of harm. It's pretty fitting too, because this is Muse's very last day, so I suppose Kindle would resurface to give his father a safe place to pass. That way he won't be deep below the ocean waves, and he should be able to find peace with the shamans by the shore. But while sneaking isn't really going to help us with our leech problem, I do think that Quiver has quite a bit of experience to lend in this case. Since he is one of our more timid, shy creatures, I suppose he would try to find ways to teach his children how to sneak their way through the grass too. How to be a little bit more cautious and use their mind more than their brawn. Now as for this baby, it looks like he actually has the velvet paw of his mother, so that's a good sign too. That's something that we definitely want to keep in our back pocket if we're going to sneak around all of those tough jungle predators. In fact, I think we'll name this baby Golden Paw, which was another suggestion that one of you left for Acacia, but that would be perfect for this little baby. The silent and stealthy Golden Paw, as he seeks out new resources for our tribe to use. So perhaps his training will begin with Quiver as well, which must be so strange for Arrow, because of course he only knows his brother to be this very timid soul who didn't even want to leave his nest when he was young. But we'll have you two breed again one more time, because Acacia is just about to pass away, so it would be nice for her to have one more baby before she goes. It'll be sad to see her leave so soon, but she knows that her children are going to carry on her legacy and help conquer the jungle biome too. So I think we'll leave Kuvan in the company of his father for now, And after we scoot Isis over here to breed one more time with Quiver, we might take Amethyst and her sister out to find some more food. We do know that there's a berry bush somewhere up here. There it is. So you guys should be able to scoop up all of those delicious berries. Oh, and it looks like somebody actually had the same idea. This would be the perfect place for you to settle down with your next child. A little hidden nursery surrounded by the thorns. And now we just have our bandits as they continue to follow their little treasures down the shore. So yeah, I guess they would take that as a sign that they're meant to carry on in this direction. Oh my goodness, wait a second. Our very first bunny! Oh, I almost forgot that we even had this bunny burrow. Where did you come from, little one? You are going to steal every last one of our berries, aren't you? Oh, that is so upsetting. Well, I'm sure one of our children, or maybe even Arrow, would be willing to lunge in and scoop you up for a snack, as soon as he has a little bit of extra energy. But Trick and Trip are going to try to find some healthy food of their own to eat, and unfortunately, this does not seem to be the best area for them. Yeah, we really need some creatures with the poison fangs to help them out in this situation. But at least Hush might be able to discover some roots to dig up, or those precious few normal berry bushes to live off of. This is also the perfect opportunity for our little bandit brothers to consider playing a trick on Hush. As she goes deeper and deeper into those thorns, maybe they try to scare her with some snarls and growls, as if they were some sort of bearyena waiting for her in the darkness. They're expecting her to get frightened and run away, of course. Run deeper and deeper into this maze of thorns. But wait a second. Oh my gosh, did a bearyena actually spawn? Here they are trying to trick her and tease her. And yet she has a true, honest threat looming down on her from the swamplands. Okay, Hush, I guess you're going to have to put all of that confidence to the test. Thankfully, she did spend so much time with the wise old woman of the savannas that she's actually much stronger than she looks. So I think she would be willing to land a few good hits on the bearyena, and then hopefully stumble her way through all of these weeds. Oh my gosh, if she's not completely cut off. Wait a second. Our bandits might have to carve a pathway for you after all. I suppose you are lucky that they're around, despite their trickery, of course. But now that they see that you're really in danger, they wouldn't be making fun of you anymore. In fact, I think they would be rather impressed to see you stand up against that bearyena, to look them straight in the eyes as you landed your first hit. You're not just that shy, timid creature that they had taken you for, and they are never going to make the mistake again. Hush would know a few songs from her childhood. Songs of a warning, of course, that they would typically sing when bearyenas were in their midst. But unfortunately, I think our tribe is a little bit too far away to hear them right now. So we'll have Kindle pass his way through, straight through the royal nest to say hello to all of the new babies, and to unearth the bunny again. Now that's what Arrow likes to see. Let's just check and see if there's any bluebirds in our skies. It looks like they're all gone for now, so technically you should be able to pin this bunny down without worrying about your babies in the process. We'll have you scoop up that one, then maybe we can scoot Golden Paw out of the nest. We could do the same for little Kuvan, as we have Quiver try his best to keep an eye on all of these children. I think this might be a little bit too much for him to handle. He's not sure that he's cut out for nursery duty, but for now it's going to have to do. Now this little one seems to have the lean body. Oh, perfect. She actually inherited that from her mother's inactive traits, I believe. So she is really going to be able to sneak her way around the jungle. Nobody is going to hear or smell her coming, but she'll do just fine since she has those nice big ears on top of her head. So we'll name this little one Sunspot as the last of Acacia's children, and we'll see how she does with her future sneaking training. Now we'll need to make sure that we're gathering up all of that extra food too, so we have enough to feed to your babies. So as you settle down in your nest, go ahead and scoop up some of those lovely toxic berries. Hopefully some of your children will be able to inherit that from you. Though, to be honest, I'm not sure if it's going to work out. We might have to try to breed that back into our line if we want to truly take advantage of all of these toxic berry bushes. But let's see where the bearyena decides to go. Hopefully it's close enough that it'll still chase after our bandits without actually hitting them in the process. Well, it seems to have lost interest. Oh no, and now we have a rogue male to deal with too. Oh, it almost looks like the rogue male was blocking the bearyena's path. That is quite interesting. Well, luckily I think Trip is actually blocking the rogue male from getting to Hush. Well, it looks like this little green bean does have the same immunity gene as Hush anyway, so we definitely don't want him to get to her. We're just going to have to ignore him as best as we can for now, as we try to pick up enough food to survive until we can get back to the bearyena. I wonder if the bearyena is actually going to just turn on the rogue male for us. That would actually be super helpful. I certainly wouldn't complain. But Arrow, it is definitely time for you to return to your daughter's side, so we don't have to worry about any dangers picking them off either. I'm actually very, very surprised that we haven't seen any bluebirds yet, because I would imagine that they are going to start spawning here. But here is a little beast, another baby with the double claws. So at least we have somebody to keep you guys safe if the bearyenas do decide to turn down the opposite shore. Now as we wait for the rest of our babies to grow so sneaking training can commence, maybe it would be a good idea to have Kindle finish his journey over to the stream. Yeah, I think we're going to have him just dive straight up this waterfall until he gets to the tree in the middle. That way we can collect all of those delicious acorns as well. And let's see if Amethyst could even make her way over to the tree too. I guess she'll have to chop down a few of these berry bushes. They're kind of just as big of a nuisance as the thorns. The only difference is we won't have to worry about them harming us if we do cut them down. They won't grow back though, so we don't want to cut too many, because they are our main source of food right now. But if it means making a safe escape route, then I guess it's a worthwhile sacrifice. While they wait, we might have Kuvan go ahead and try out his hand at picking berries. Since he does have the 2 running legs, he should be pretty good at picking up the normal sweet ones. Oh, we have another bunny over here too. Alright, well before this one decides to steal our food, look at that. Golden Paw was actually able to sneak up on it, thanks to his velvet paw, of course. So it didn't even notice him coming. Well, Quiver is going to take note of that. You've already gotten the highest marks in his books. Now, is our rogue male friend still lurking around here? Or has he moved on thanks to all of the danger? You know, it doesn't really seem like he's at our door anymore, but I suppose that's a good thing for Hush. So let's just clear out the grass around here for now. That way when the bearyena does decide to jump in and attack again, we should be able to lunge out of the way after we've made our own moves. And with that, let's see if this is going to be when the bearyena comes stumbling out of the grass again. Oh, poor little Trip took some damage. Thank goodness, though, you have the normal blood clotting gene, so it's not as big of a tragedy as we were used to in the savannah. We'll just have you land a quick swipe on him, too. He is a very wiry little one with his running legs and his medium body, so he should be hard for the bearyena to pin down. Then if we nudge Trick back into the grass, we should be able to have Hush jump in one more time, land another good swipe, and just check the lifespan remaining. 7 days left. I think you guys can definitely succeed as long as you keep working together. They must actually feel pretty bad for playing that trick on poor Hush. I'm sure part of them thinks that it's their fault that the bearyena even showed up in the swamplands. Maybe they're just so good at bearyena sounds that this guy honestly thought his family was calling him from a distance. Oh, wait a second. Do we have another little wanderer over here? Oh, with double nimble fingers? That is just what we need right now. Though unfortunately he's also completely infertile, so he's not going to be able to pass those on to any babies of his. But at least that would allow us the chance to pick up more shells. So, Duke to Duke, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you could help us out for a little while. There are so many shells in the water that we just can't reach ourselves. So let's see if you have any more luck. But if it wasn't the bearyena being fooled by that music, then I wouldn't be surprised if this is our bandit brothers doing. Maybe they were playing a trick on our tricksters, because the bandit brothers are never to be outdone. Now as Amethyst clears out the last of these poison berry bushes in the pathway, she can stick her nose out to say hello to little Kindle as he swims around with all of his fishy friends. Maybe we'll even see if she can find some roots in the distance, if they can sniff any out together. Oh, will they hear bunnies out in the grass? That's a good sign, so we know that there is potential food for them to eat in that direction. We'll have to have them team up to explore. Amethyst doesn't really like to leave her sister behind, but I think she'll take Kudukta as soon as he's grown enough and meet them over by the tree. At least Quiver's sneaking training can finally commence, now that all of these babies have their second gems. And we'll have to make sure that we're giving them the right gem colors too. You know, I was thinking for Acacia's babies, since we aren't using the pink gems right now, maybe that would be a good way to mark them off from the rest of the tribe. So we'll give Golden Paw and Sunspot those special pink gems that would remind us of our bears and our bees from the savannah. So I guess that's another reason why it's particularly fitting too. I think we'll have Arrow join them, even though he's not very good at sneaking himself. He doesn't have the same demeanor as his brother. He would want to stick around just for the extra protection. He doesn't want them finding any troubles of their own. Kuvan is kind of leading the pack at the moment, but that's a good thing because with that big nose of his, oh dear, he'll be able to sense everything but the leeches. Okay, Arrow, I think there's a good possibility. Oh, that you're going to have to pick that off of one of the babies. But apparently not. I guess you scared it away. Well, he doesn't really have any other moves to make, so I guess we'll leave him right there as we skip the day yet again and see if the bearyena comes back after our bandits. Oh, poor Trip, we must have forgotten to lick your wounds. And I'm pretty sure I also heard our very first bluebird finally spawn in the skies. Interestingly enough, he's hovering around this big point of chaos on the island, perhaps as a bluebird beacon himself, trying to lure Isis in the direction of danger. So would she take that as a sign? Maybe as a sign that she needs to send her strongest son out to help? I suppose if he does make his way down the shore, it would probably be much, much faster than if he tried to wind his way through all of those thorns. And there's the leech. Which one of you managed to pick that one up? Oh, little Kuvan. Of course, because the leech was so very intimidated of Arrow and his claws. Well, let's bring you up here into the tall grass, so the leeches at least won't be able to munch on you. And then Kuvan can get back to work sniffing around for roots and other resources. Yeah, Quiver is going to request that all of our children stay in this tall grass so they can allure new creatures out from hiding. Oh, this would be the perfect way to train Sunspot and Golden Paw with their lovely claws. I bet they would be able to make a quick snack of these crabbits. Let's have Quiver jump over here so we can hopefully hit it from behind, as the babies set themselves up for the next turn too. And thank goodness we have you, little Duke to pick all of those berries, because we do desperately need the food. Oh, we had a little root over here that must have just popped up. That would be the perfect spot to settle down Acacia's remains. So we'll have to bring back one of our shamans in the future to do just that. Right now, Amethyst is a little bit preoccupied, distracted by the very handsome Kindle, though I'm wondering if she's even going to be able to cross the stream. I really hope she can, because it looks like the current is a little bit faster right here, and this is the only spot that she has to work with. So please tell me she's not going to take drowning damage. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, sometimes when we place them in these waterfall tiles, it seems to give them a little bit of drowning damage in the process. But look at this. You guys have found a permanent nest out here, right next to so much food. Maybe this is a good sign for you two after all. She's almost reached the end of her lifespan, so I suppose she would be looking for little heirs to stand beside her sister's children. So let's see what we can do with their mutation menus to make them more suited for the islands to come. We could perhaps place the stripes into both of their mutation menus, so they'll be able to hide with a bit more ease inside the tall grass. But then I think it would also be worthwhile to try again with that stinky tail, because we do desperately need to breed that onto some of our babies before the rains start to fall in the swamps. So go ahead and breed with Amethyst. Oh no, the first one didn't work. Well, we do have one more day to try again. Is your fertility really that bad? I mean, it's not awful, but I hope we're going to get lucky with our first baby. And if we want Isis to see her sister before she passes away, we're going to have to bring her over to the water side now. That leaves our bandits with fixing our food situation, as we hopefully take care of this bearyena once and for all. There you go, Hush. Hush the warrior. Who would have thought? These bandits have to be just completely in awe of you right now. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if from here on out, they try to catch your eye rather than play their pranks. She has really changed their ways for the better. But now, Quiver, with your last turn, you should be able to show these babies how to land a good hit on the crabbit. Try your best to break through that tough shell. It'll take a while to work them down, but again, if they all work together, they should be able to feast on the crabbit meat before long. Let's go ahead and skip the day again. Hopefully there won't be any new beryenas for us to contend with. And yet again, poor little Trip. Thank goodness we have so many healing fruits, because you're definitely going to need it. Hush can finally... Oh, you don't actually have any wounds to lick. Okay, they must have actually closed up on their own. That means that you can settle down by the healing fruits instead, these water-breathing plants, and you guys can use them to your advantage while the healers aren't looking. It's pretty fitting that the bandits would be the one to steal these. Since they can't steal the shells so easily, they're going to have to make do with the plants instead. Their father Chaos would be very, very proud. Something tells me that little guy is still stealing berries from Bud and Sting. Even in his old age, his tricks would never fail. Now here's one last chance for Amethyst to have an heir, to hopefully send to keep track of the royal family. We'll have her try to breed with Kindle first, and then settle down in that nest. Oh, thank goodness. And just as well, thank goodness that Isis can make her way to... Oh my gosh, to her sister's side, but it looks like we may have actually disturbed the home of a wanderer. Oh dear little Collier. I hope you're not too upset that we've kind of made a new base for ourselves by this tree. But that just goes to show what a great home this actually is. One of the best places to set up in the swamp, I would think. So perhaps you could be our little den mother? Take care of the babies that we have underneath this tree? We'll entice you, we'll pay you of course with all of that delicious food. It's pretty clear that there's a lot more food over on this side of the tree though. Plenty of nests over here, plenty of berry bushes to pick from, and I'm pretty sure we have those pesky bunnies scooting around in the grass too. So we'll leave her with a couple more turns just in case she can pick one off, and we'll come back to our sneaky little explorers as they try their hand at taking down the crabbit once more. I would think with all their claws, it should be pretty easy for them to do. Food is still a bit of a struggle, but we knew that it would be. It's a long way for us to work ourselves up from that tiny little bit of food that we had when we escaped from the savannah. But in the next episode, hopefully we'll see some nimble-fingered bandits born in the tribe so they can get back to their roots and start searching out for more shells to collect. With the shells, the acorns, and all of these delicious berries, I think our tribe is going to be in a much better situation once we join them again. And you know, I just realized that our two wanderers actually look very, very similar. Maybe they know each other too. It's always interesting how the wandering creatures seem to share some genetics, because it makes me feel like they must be part of the same family. Two long-lost siblings that we need to reunite in the next episode. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!